What if everything you know about yourself could change in an instant? What if you could rewire your mind, not just for success, but for absolute domination in life? I'm talking about stepping into a version of yourself that's unrecognizable, because here's the truth. The only thing stopping you from greatness is the identity you've locked yourself into. By the end of this, your mindset won't just be different, it will never be the same. Who you are right now is a choice, not a fate. And the first step to realizing your potential is accepting that the life you've lived so far is the result of decisions, not destiny. Too many people walk around as if the person they've become is something they couldn't control, like they're victims of their circumstances, or worse, like they've been preordained to be a certain way. But that's not the truth. You might be thinking, but I didn't choose the family I was born into. I didn't choose the hardships, the failures, or the pain I've experienced. And you're right, you didn't choose everything that's happened to you, but you are the one who decides what these things mean. The stories we tell ourselves shape our identity. And the most dangerous lie we can tell ourselves is that our identity is fixed. It's not. Think about people like Steve Jobs. He dropped out of college, struggled with failure, and yet he didn't let those experiences define him. He chose to redefine his identity. He chose to take what was painful and use it as fuel to build an empire that changed the world. Or take Oprah Winfrey, raised in poverty, dealing with abuse. Many could have easily believed that was the life they were destined for. But Oprah chose to see herself differently. She chose to turn those challenges into the foundation of her success. The truth is, these people didn't rise to the top because they were lucky or born that way. They rose because they made a conscious decision to reject the identity their circumstances tried to impose on them and create a new one. And that's what you can do too. Now let's dive deeper into why this is so powerful. It's all about psychology. The mind is an incredibly powerful thing. Studies show that people who believe they can change their circumstances are more likely to succeed than those who feel powerless. The brain has a built-in mechanism called neuroplasticity, which is the ability of the brain to rewire itself based on new experiences and learning. This means that even if you've spent years, even decades, living a certain way, you have the power to change how you think, feel, and behave at any moment. When you realize that who you are today is a reflection of choices you've made based on your past conditioning, you can start making new choices, new decisions that align with who you want to become. And you don't need to make these decisions based on your circumstances. You don't need to have money, time, or connections. You just need the decision to break free from the mold that's been placed on you. It's about understanding that your future isn't something that's handed to you. You don't wait for it to happen to you. You create it. And here's the most exciting part. The moment you shift your mindset, the moment you decide to become someone new, your entire reality starts to shift with it. Your actions follow your thoughts, your habits change, and the world around you begins to respond to the new version of you. This is how real transformation happens. It's not about waiting for some moment of divine inspiration or for everything to align perfectly. Transformation starts with a choice that says, I am not a prisoner of my past. I am not bound by the identity that others have created for me. I am free to decide who I want to be. So stop looking at your past to define your future. Stop allowing the limitations of yesterday to hold you back from becoming the person you're meant to be. The version of you that's capable of achieving greatness, of living a life you once thought was out of reach, is waiting to emerge. Make the decision today. You don't have to be the same person you were yesterday. You don't have to follow the script that life handed you. You are free to choose right now who you will become. And that choice, that simple decision, is the first step in unlocking your unlimited potential. You don't have to act like you're weak to be strong. Let me repeat that. You don't have to act like you're weak to be strong. We live in a world where people often mistake vulnerability for weakness. Society pushes us to act tough, to hide our true emotions, to put up a wall that says, I don't need help, I don't feel fear, I don't show weakness. But here's the truth. Strength is not about acting invincible. True strength comes from being real, from being vulnerable, from facing your fears head on. Strength is not about pretending you're invulnerable to pain. It's about acknowledging that pain and choosing to move forward anyway. Think about someone like Brené Brown, a researcher who's spent her career studying vulnerability. She argues that vulnerability is not a sign of weakness, but rather the birthplace of courage and innovation. Why? Because when you're willing to admit that you're scared, when you can say, I don't know, but I'm going to figure it out, that's where true growth happens. Let's talk about someone like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Here's a man who's built a career on strength, both physically and emotionally. But he's also one of the most open, vulnerable individuals in the public eye. He doesn't hide from the struggles he's faced. The time he was cut from the Canadian Football League, the pain of losing his father, the battles with depression. Instead of pretending those things didn't affect him, he used them as fuel to become who he is today. His strength didn't come from pretending everything was fine. It came from confronting his struggles, sharing them with the world, and then using those experiences to power his rise to greatness. The truth is, many people walk through life believing that showing weakness is a liability. They think that if they show fear, uncertainty, or doubt, others will see them as less capable, less strong. But the opposite is true. When you allow yourself to show up authentically, flaws and all, you show your true power. People aren't drawn to your mask, they're drawn to your humanity. When you admit that you struggle, that you fall, and that you get back up, you give others permission to do the same. You create a ripple effect of honesty, resilience, and courage. This is the psychology of strength. Strength is not about the absence of fear or weakness. It's about choosing to take action even when you're afraid. It's about owning your story, being open about your challenges, and showing up for yourself and others despite the obstacles in your way. Real strength comes from within, and it's rooted in emotional intelligence. The strongest people are the ones who understand their emotions, who can sit with discomfort, and who still move forward. So here's what you need to understand. You don't have to wear a mask to be powerful. You don't have to pretend you have it all figured out. Your true strength is revealed when you allow yourself to be vulnerable, when you allow yourself to face what's holding you back, and then take the next step anyway. When you stop pretending to be invincible, you unlock the kind of strength that inspires, motivates, and transforms. Remember, the road to success isn't about pretending you're perfect. It's about embracing the imperfections and using them as stepping stones to your greatness. You're stronger than you think, but only if you're willing to stop acting like you're weak. Your thoughts control your state. Let that sink in for a moment. Everything you feel, everything you experience begins with a thought. And what's even more powerful is that you have the ability to control those thoughts, to choose which ones dominate your mind and ultimately shape your reality. If you've ever found yourself in a negative spiral, anxiety creeping in, stress building, doubt taking over, this is the key to breaking free. Your thoughts. They are the doorways to the emotional states you live in, and if you want to change how you feel, you first need to change what's going on in your head. This isn't just a motivational speaker's mantra. This is grounded in real psychology. The science of neuroplasticity teaches us that the brain is constantly evolving, reshaping itself in response to the thoughts, emotions, and behaviors we experience daily. The thoughts you think today are literally rewiring your brain, for better or for worse. So if you're consistently feeding yourself negative thoughts, thoughts of failure, fear, and self-doubt, guess what your brain will start to believe? That's right. It will believe those thoughts are true, and it will start to reflect them in your reality. Let's take a look at someone who has mastered this concept, Serena Williams. Time and time again, she's faced situations where the pressure was at an all-time high. The world watched as she played in Grand Slam finals with millions on the line, but Serena's strength doesn't come from just physical training. Her mental game is what sets her apart. She doesn't just rely on muscle memory, she controls her thoughts. Even when the crowd is against her, when the odds are stacked, she shifts her focus back to the present moment and tells herself she is capable, that she's been in this situation before and has succeeded. Her ability to control her mental state is the reason she can maintain composure and perform at the highest level no matter the circumstances. But here's where it gets deeper. Controlling your thoughts isn't about ignoring your emotions. It's not about pretending everything is fine when it's not. It's about redirecting your focus. It's about acknowledging your fears, your doubts, your struggles, and then making the choice to shift your mental state. You have the power to move from a state of anxiety to one of confidence, from a state of self-doubt to one of belief. It's about choosing to see the opportunity in every challenge, the lesson in every failure, the growth in every obstacle. Think about a time when you've felt fear or anxiety. Maybe it was before an important presentation, a big decision, or challenge you weren't sure you could handle. What did you do in that moment? Did you let the fear control you, or did you take a breath and shift your focus? Did you tell yourself, I've got this. I've done hard things before. This is my moment to shine. That internal dialogue, that choice to control your thoughts, is the exact moment that changes your state. Remember, it's not about denying your feelings, it's about managing them. If you wake up feeling down, that's okay. You can acknowledge that, but you don't have to let it dictate your entire day. You don't have to let one negative thought spiral out of control. You get to choose the next thought. You get to decide the next moment. And that's where your power lies. By controlling your thoughts, you control your state. And by controlling your state, you have the ability to shape your life. It's that simple and it's that powerful. So next time you feel overwhelmed, stressed, or doubtful, remember, your thoughts are the keys to your state, and you have the power to choose the next one. Take control, shift your mindset, and watch how your world begins to change. Energy is everything. Master yours. Every moment of your life is defined by the energy you bring into it. Think about it. When you walk into a room, what happens? Do people gravitate toward you or do they pull away? The energy you exude is far more powerful than you might realize. It's the driving force behind every action you take, every relationship you build, and every success or failure you experience. Your energy speaks louder than words, louder than your actions. It's the silent force that shapes your reality. Now, I want you to think about someone you know who's got incredible energy. Maybe it's a friend, a mentor, or someone you admire from afar. What do they have that others don't? Is it their confidence, their charisma, the way they light up every room they enter? Here's the thing. They've mastered their energy. They've learned to control how they show up in the world, and that mastery is what gives them the power to influence, to lead, and to inspire. Take Elon Musk, for example. The man who is transforming entire industries. Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink. People don't just follow him because of his vision or his intellect. They follow him because he brings energy to everything he does. He brings passion. He brings drive. When he speaks, you can feel the energy in every word. And that energy is contagious. It sparks action. It sparks belief. It sparks movement. That energy is what has helped him turn ideas that once seemed impossible into reality. It's what fuels the breakthroughs and innovation, and it's what will continue to drive his success. But let's not just focus on the big names. What about you? What kind of energy are you bringing into your life? The energy you bring to your work, your family, your relationships. Because here's the truth. Energy is not just about how you feel physically. It's about how you think, how you show up, and how you choose to act in every situation. If you want to shift your life, you first need to shift your energy. If you're constantly running on low energy, constantly stressed, anxious, or overwhelmed, that's exactly what you'll attract into your life. You attract the same level of energy you put out. If you're walking around with negativity, self-doubt, or fear, the world will respond to you in kind. You'll find yourself attracting more of those situations, more of those people who drain your energy. But here's the game changer. When you master your energy, you flip the script. When you bring high-level energy, when you are present, enthusiastic, positive, and focused, that's exactly what you attract back into your life. High-energy people attract opportunities, success, and fulfillment because they create a ripple effect around them. It's the law of attraction in its purest form. You get what you give. So if you want to create change, you need to bring the energy that reflects the change you want to see. And here's the most powerful part. You can control your energy. Every single day, you have the ability to choose how you show up. It starts with awareness. It starts with recognizing that you are the one in charge. It's easy to get caught up in the chaos of life, but the key is to master your energy, even in the most challenging times. It's about taking a breath, choosing focus over distraction, choosing calm over anxiety, choosing positivity over negativity. And when you do this consistently, you will notice a shift, not just in how you feel, but in how others respond to you, in the opportunities that come your way, and in the results you get. Energy is not a passive force. It's active. It's a tool that you can harness, mold, and direct. So today, right now, ask yourself, what energy am I bringing into my life? Am I bringing the energy of success, or am I bringing the energy of struggle? The moment you master your energy, you will master your life. And that is where the real transformation begins. The pain of staying the same will always be greater than the pain of change. Let that truth sink in for a moment. Most people resist change. They fear it, avoid it, or hope it'll somehow just happen without their effort. But here's the reality. The real pain lies in staying exactly where you are. The comfort of the familiar may feel safe, but it's also the breeding ground for stagnation, frustration, and unfulfilled potential. And sooner or later, that comfort will cost you far more than the discomfort of change ever could. Let's break this down. If you keep doing what you're doing today, if you don't make the tough decisions, if you don't face the challenges and push through the discomfort, where will you be a year from now? 5 years? 10? The hard truth is, without change, you're only going one direction, backward. The world is moving, evolving, and if you don't keep up, you'll get left behind. Your dreams, your goals, the things you truly want in life, those things don't stay stagnant. They evolve.